I'm not being silly, but I am. See, sometimes when you get a horse, it's got used to the way people deal with it. Now, how do people deal with horses that get a bit strong? We get in, we want to do stuff with them, and then they get angry and fight. So, I don't want to learn about him right now. I want him to learn about me a little bit. I'm sensitive. And while he's learning about me, I'll be learning about him. It's not that I'm not just going to teach him to learn about me. I'm just going to teach him that I have a bubble. And my bubble is important to me. But I'm not going to be aggressive at him to say he's pushy. I'm just going to say, too fast on our first day together, yeah? It's a bit of an electric bubble, but at the same time, what it's giving him is ooh eyes instead of eyes. You know the difference between that eye and this eye? You know the hard eye, the aggressive eye? He's kind of looking at me going, I pay attention to you, but you don't look like you can hurt me. You're a bit strange. Okay? Because I don't want him to think I can hurt him or do anything like that to him. Yeah, he might get aggressive under pressure, but this is the first rule of engagement for him and me. I'm new to you, and I want you to walk up to me trying to learn about me. And I'm going to learn about you slowly. But I'm not walking up to him, am I? He's doing all the walking, not me. It's going to look a little bit like a Mexican standoff. And that's what you've got to start to establish again in horses that think they know the answer to everything, is you've got to say you don't know the answer. You've got to start searching again, because if they don't start to search and try and think again, then maybe we don't open those opportunities up for them to feel good about something. They'll think they know the answer, and if their answer has a hard thought behind it, then they're already hard before we get a chance to say this is not going to be like that. Now I'm going to get him to come up to me. Come up to me. That's enough.
Someone's got lollies.
When he thinks he knows me and he thinks, oh, he's right now, I'll just come in and... I say, no, you're not ready for that. You'll come up thoughtfully and wondering about me so you can learn about me. But it's got him centred, hasn't it? See him centering here and saying, come on, mate, let's try again. I want to be able to direct him and have a soft eye and try, yeah? Because how old is he?
4.5.
4.5. Okay, he's not very old. He's too young to have a hard eye and aggression. Yes. That's a little bit of a softer interaction, wasn't it? But that'll do. I don't want any more now. So I'm going to teach him, firstly, about body language. I'll show you a little thing about bit about body language. Ready? Hello, my name's Mark. I'm scaring you, aren't I? So, humans and other humans tend to be aware of body language, yeah? And I might have come up with a big smile and a big open cuddle, but you don't know me, so you're going to cringe up and go, that's really bothering me. So even when he comes with a soft eye to come and say hello to me, if it's too fast for me, he's got to know that. But when I come up to him, if I think I'm too fast for his body language, I will stop and say, sorry, mate, I'll wait a little. I'll respect your space. Because he's cute, because of his forelock, he's cute, see? It's a nice one. Because he's cute, you know, horses get patted and all this stuff happens to them all the time, and we rug them and we saddle them, and it's like me coming up and cuddling every person I meet. We have to be very careful that we're aware of their personal body space, yeah? So I'm making him aware of mine, showing him that I'm very sensitive, but I'm very kind. I'm not going to attack him, I'm just a little bit sensitive to things. You don't have to do the extreme that I did then. I was just trying to show you an example of change his thought, but don't get at him for it. Yeah? Good boy. That'll do. Sorry. That'll do. See how he hunts? It's like that person that says, "G'day, mate," and they're too quick, and you give them a fish handshake because you never had a chance to even straighten up your hand and meet at the same time. Most people that you like, when you handshake them, you meet at the same... That's a little better, but see, he gets a little greedy, doesn't he? So we've got to first teach him about the rules of engagement with us, which he hasn't probably learnt. He may have not spent enough time in a big herd, or maybe if he was in a big herd, he might have been in a really, really small herd that was, not a big herd, but a small herd that he thought he was the king of the universe. Or maybe his mum never told him that he can't have a drink. All those little things that made him the horse he is. So we've got to somehow set up a herd environment where he's not the spoilt child of the, you know. I don't know if you know his history.
Yeah, I've read him.
Yeah. So first, before we teach him how to do stuff, we've got to teach him how to think stuff, yeah? How to feel around us. And I get the feeling he's grown up in a little herd that wasn't quite big enough, maybe. And he's got a fair strength of character that maybe he was a little more overpowering than the other horses in some respects, and also that comes into his nature. But when we come in, sometimes when they get pushy, we try and fight them, and if we're not very clear with our boundaries and clear in our strength in ourselves, then they start to challenge that like they challenge the other horses, yeah? But it's not putting him down the pecking order that's going to make him feel any better. It's just clearing up your boundary, but don't bring your boundary to him to say you're pushy. So, you know, sometimes you learn in horsemanship, be the alpha, move their feet around. That's going to make him angry. I'm not moving his feet around, am I? I'm just telling him to say, pay attention to my body language. And he's going to realise that he's just got to pay attention to me, but I'm super kind. I'm going to be your best friend, mate. You've just got to watch me and understand that I'm a kind person. I'm not going to chase you out of the herd. I'm not going to do all this business. But one of the philosophies that I completely disagree with, and it's rife in horsemanship everywhere, is you've got to push your horse and move their feet to establish dominance. It's kind of, you know, you be the alpha. No, you just be clear and don't let them move you. So it's not about moving them, they don't move you, yeah? If I leant on you and I leant strong enough, you'll get to a spot that you'll shift and feel uncomfortable with my energy, yeah? Now what happens with horses, especially big horses like him, there's a lot of little shifts that we do accidentally or subconsciously that we weren't quite aware of. The little shifts away when a horse walks through here, or when he moves his head, we go like this, or we step back a little. But what happens automatically after a horse pushes us out of their way a little bit, subconsciously, we get out of my space, for instance. What happens there is we actually get in a little fight for the horse, but the truth of the matter was the horse moved us. Do you understand? And that's sometimes where these horses start to sort of erode a bit, is because they shouldn't have moved us in the first place. Then we wouldn't have had to say, move. So we're going to go for a walk and we're going to be quite strong. You're following my feel. I believe in myself. He's just got to do what he does. Now, when you're walking with any horse, with a Shetland pony, it's so much easier to hold your ground, isn't it? But you get a big warm blood breathing down your neck and it's very hard to hold your ground. Something you've got to believe in every time you take a step with these horses is, this is my ground, this is my ground, this is my ground, this is my ground, yeah? This is my ground, this is my ground, this is my ground, this is my ground. See, you're fighting him. Don't fight him. Don't fight him. This is my ground here. This is my ground here. Now, we're not going to start doing this to take his ground away from him all the time and be a bully, but what I'm saying is I want you to really believe in your ground, so much so that he believes in your ground, in the sense that he believes in you. It's that slight lack of belief in our ground and wariness that makes us start to challenge our horses, and then it feels like an alpha pecking order fight, and they get aggressive. Especially the ones that are prone to it a little bit, especially because they've had a few wins. I think he's had a few wins with horses, he may have had a few wins with people. And when we go in hard and say, I'm going to push you, he says, well, I'm going to challenge that, but it becomes a fight. I want him to know that I'm not going to fight him. I'm just showing him that I believe. And that's going to be the start, and it's a good start in horses. Well, he thought he was going to move my head then with his nose just a little, but then he moved away a bit. So I'm going to take this little spot here and I'm going to stand here like this, having a good day myself. See that there? Where he kind of yielded, he gave space to me, didn't he? I didn't take it away from him. No, I kind of stood in there. I was a little bit, but I didn't say, get out of my space. I waited there, like, here. I'm not going to fight him for that. I'm just going to stand here and say, I know this is not going to curve all the angry behaviour straight away, and I'm not trying to give you tools yet, tools how to train. I need to teach you how to be first. Once you know how to be around him, you might find you might only have to do 50% of maybe what you thought you had to do 100%. You understand? Because some things change naturally. Okay? He's got to be careful because I'm sensitive. But I'm not. He doesn't have to be careful in the sense that I'm going to whack him. He's just got to know that I'm sensitive. But by being not reacting to it and going at him, he's not aggressive about it. He's more going, ooh, he's different. He's not going, argh. If I turned around and said bang like that, he'd probably go, argh. You want to fight? He goes, oh, you're strong. They feel your strength. If they feel reactiveness, then you lose your strength. You're giving to them. You're giving up your strength. As soon as you become reactive, okay? You see that yield he just did there? I was thinking that way, he was thinking that way, and he yielded across like that, didn't he? See that there? If I step into there like that, you see how he yielded across there? Okay, because he's starting to believe in my spot, not because I taught him how to do it. Yeah? And that's the first rule of... Okay. The problem, this is going to be the hard bit, is he knows you. So he's going to go, come on, Mum, you sure? Are you sure you believe in yourself? Because you can't just wake up and you suddenly had an epiphany and go on, I'm a new person today, and the horse goes, I want to believe it. So there's going to be a sticky bit where the horse goes, hang on a minute, you weren't like this yesterday. Now I just want you to stand and believe. Now, ready? When you act to that and you say, I don't like that, you can just go, and just kind of get him to sort of think about something instead of feel like, that's it, see that? See how he flung his head back like that? He's probably used to that, someone trying it on him where they said, get out. And that's made him a little defensive. He's just got to learn about, he's never been taught body language. Most horses that come from a big herd, you never have this problem. You don't have it until you start fiddling with them and making the problem. Sometimes that's what happens. You never have this problem. When you catch your baby horse and they finally get friendly with you know what you do? You stand there and you go like this and they don't even bother you. They might test you a little bit, but most times they don't have all this funny human behaviour because we don't throw rugs on them, we don't chuck them in here, we don't rub them and love them, we don't do that. They just learn about being around body language and they're okay with it. Well, he's on his best behaviour because I just put a little bit of... I've woke him up a little bit. Are you ready? Do your little shock. And just stand like you love him with a big smile on your face. So you know how you help horses that attack you? You know what you say in yourself? You say, I'm having a great day. I'm here to help. Yeah? That's what you're saying. And once he knows that's what you're saying inside, he'll go, right, you still like me, you know? We're still friends, are we? That's kind of what you want to show him. I'm not saying that you don't sometimes clarify boundaries. There's horses that are truly got to a stage in life that any bit of pressure they get really defensive. You're lucky he's still quite sensitive, that he hasn't kind of been super dull now. Little shock there. Now the next thing you can do is you can put a leading hand out to him to lead him into a little sniff, but it's got to be the same as you. I didn't engage with him then. I just put my hand out, right? And he thought he can just come and interrupt that conversation. He can't. But I'm not going to hold him out there like that going, no, we don't want to talk to you, because there's nothing worse than sitting out there when someone's talking and they don't actually acknowledge you and going and say, I'm going to talk to you in a second. And I'm back to here, yeah? So I will still have a conversation with him, but I'm not going to let him demand a conversation straight away. Okay? Good fella. Okay, so you're going to have a little say hello to him, and then you're going to say, that's it, I'm done with that conversation, I'm just going to stand quietly for a bit. So he learns. It's like the rules of engagement, isn't there, a movie? Very good. Do you notice how you stopped and he stopped? Very good. He's learning about your body language. And that's important, because then he's not going to make mistakes all the time. He's been making mistakes and getting a little reprimanded for something he didn't know the answer to. And that's what happens to a lot of horses. They don't quite know the answer, so they do something and then they get in trouble, but it still doesn't teach them the answer. Show them the answer straight away. So what I mean is you don't let a horse step into your space and then you to chase them out. You tell them where your space is, or when that moment is that you are not, not that you said that's my boundary. Good, very good. And you're always smiling on the inside.